Hey guys, Raizins here, back with another video, and I'm actually trying something new today. I am going to be commentating over a game that I played a few days ago, and I'm just going to be talking. I'm just going to be talking about what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, why I did what I did, and we're going to let direct camera handle the first part of the game, just to show you, people running around and their animations. It's going to be a little rambly. It's going to be a bit here and there. I'm probably going to try and do a couple of these and see how people feel. And whether it's interesting to people. But yeah, let me know what you think after the video and whether or not it's interesting. It's a fun video to watch. But we will focus on why I'm roaming, where I'm roaming, how I make some of my decisions based around what I can see. Most of this game, I think you should be directed to not that direction, the minimap in that direction. So you have to look at the minimap quite a lot because that is most of what support is trying to be on the map at the right time and punish people for, not seeing you move around the map. But we can also talk about stuff like warding, stuff that I think about when it comes to whether or not I can get kills, whether or not I can 2v2, why I play certain fights a certain way. There's also probably going to be some mistakes. So I'll talk about those as well, when I screw up, when I miss something. And I'll probably, I'm doing this for my own benefit as well. So just kind of laid back, chill, fun, hang out, and we're gonna play some watch me play some League of Legends rather. So I'm gonna actually switch off directed camera. We're gonna focus on me. Lilia starts top, and we actually see her start on rates. My Hecarim starting top. This is not a lane in which we win level 1. As you can see, they walk up and they flay my Ziggs. This is pretty standard stuff, and actually, it doesn't go particularly well. We actually end up trading. Now it's just objectively good for the Ezreal. I made a couple of mistakes there. One, I probably baited my Ziggs a little bit too hard by walking up that aggressively, and Ziggs kind of followed in my stead and walked with me. If I redid this lane, I probably wouldn't have walked that far forward. But there is one good part about this, which is Ziggs has TP. So the Ezreal flashing under tower and dying there isn't particularly game changing. Mainly because it's kind of even. We get XP, he gets gold. That's pretty much the trade-off. Ezreal's missing a lot of XP, but Thresh soaks up a lot of this, and he's going to be level 3 very soon, so we have to be careful of that. I think he maybe goes for a hook here, I'm not sure. Okay, he doesn't go for a hook. So there's like a downside to this for Ezreal, flashing under the tower like that, which is he's still level 1, and we're level 2. Unfortunately, because I don't have Ignite, and I'm laning with Ziggs, he's a really low damage champion right now, at least. He pokes, he's long range, but he doesn't have like sustained burst, sustained DPS over his, using his abilities right now. He really needs to get like Lost Chapter before we can start 2v2ing safely, and I feel comfortable that we have enough burst to get through, the Thresh lanterning and flaying me, all this kind of stuff. But here I actually noticed that my Hecarim was near Tribrush, and the important part there is I knew for a fact that if I flashed any later, then Ezreal could react with his E, right? But I went there because he was within my flash Q range, and the important thing to note was Hecarim wasn't spotted yet. He wasn't spotted at Tribrush yet, so I went just before Ezreal could see Hecarim, so there was absolutely no way he could react to that. And then I see Lilia, just kind of out of position here. And Hecarim, we end up getting a really nice kind of river fight. I don't know why the enemy team was walking in so aggressively when they just lost their AD carry, but these kind of things will happen all the time in solo queue. This is like a 500, 600 LP game. There's even some challenger players in this game, and people will screw up. People will make these mistakes. So what I was actually trying to do here was, I thought Lilia was on her wolves. What I didn't realize was she had already done her wolves in the come ball lane, and I should have realized that, because she wouldn't be going for bot crab after her Ezreal died unless her wolves were down. It just wouldn't make sense. So I went for she was 1 HP, and I was like, okay, she might be doing her wolves. That was really greedy on my part, and I should have just recalled and gotten my boots and gotten on the map. And what I would have done with that time instead was probably roam top. I could have had a free top lane roam here, I think. I could have just walked directly top lane with my Hecarim, secured crab, and then ganked top, and then reset. And by the time I reset, I think Ziggs would have just been thinning the wave out and farming bot lane. He would have been chilling. I don't think he's diveable right now, unless he gets hooked. In which case, it is what it is. But I think a top lane roam would have actually made Camille's lane really, really hard there. So Thresh goes for a cheeky hook. At this point during the laning phase, I'm just thinking, all right, we're probably not going to be able to 2v2 until Ziggs gets some more mana. Also, Ziggs will run out of mana really quick. So I do need to be here to try and help him out a little bit. And what I did here was just a big mistake. I think burning combo. Oh, sorry. No, I thought this was a different play. Actually, it wasn't the end of the world. Ezreal actually just eased my combo and we saved the pink. So sorry, I thought this was a different play. I don't know why I immediately thought that I was gonna die there, but so defended our pink safely. And actually, the main reason we could do that was because Kiana was pushing and enemy bot lane was scared that Kiana was moving. So 2v2 in isolation. Both champions have tier. Very little damage in this lane. It's just poke, long range poke. And I see Hecarim walking up to my Krugs, and I start making a mistake here. I start playing a bit aggro. And Thresh ends up also making a bigger mistake, which was quite funny. Thresh's mistake was to allow me to knock him into tower before I CC'd him. So that was a bit of a weird situation because I should have died there. I had no flash, and if they just went on me instead of going on my Ziggs, we would have been fine. And I think actually what you're about to see is another mistake from us, which is we overstay here. I think we should probably look to base with Hecarim pushing the wave in and then just get a reset in. Yeah, some shenanigans are going down here, that's for sure. Ezreal's also having a bit of a... I don't know what Ezreal was thinking of doing. Like, there was no reason for him to stay because the wave was pushing to him anyway. So him greeting like that was a big mistake. What else can I say about this? I think the enemy is definitely making a lot of really desperate plays. I couldn't really stop her for taking the lantern. I didn't have a pink ward. Oh, I did have a pink ward. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. So what you can do is you can pink ward lanterns if you don't know that by now. Basically, if you put a pink ward down directly on the lantern, they can't click on it. Yeah, that was... Again, this was solidly... Like, I put that level of play that we just made solidly in, like, the diamond range of things. We overstayed near our bot tower, then Ezreal overstayed, and then we overstayed, tried to push the wave in after Ezreal overstayed. It was truly a spectacular series of events. I have no idea why we were so greedy, but if you're making a play that long, you have to start looking at the minimap far more and being like, okay, well, we've been bot lane fighting or close to fighting for so long, someone's going to notice and someone's going to start moving eventually. And Lilia eventually starts moving, right? And it was like 40 seconds on the map where we didn't really know where Lilia was, and we were just like fighting the bot lane, which was a dead giveaway that I shouldn't just be sitting bot lane expecting Lilia to not do something. You know, but everybody makes these kind of mistakes. So when Thresh burns Lantern like that and he wants to recall, I actually sit there and I tank the wave for a little bit. Looking back, probably not a good play. Probably not a good play. My Ziggs was actually there to catch the wave. So I ended up just losing a bunch of HP and a refillable potion for no reason. So looking back on this play, I actually don't think I should tank the wave. It's totally pointless. But we do know we're 1v2 right now. And I'm not sure why I'm not playing more aggro. I guess I'm scared that Thresh is in one of these brushes, which is a mistake because he was low HP and I should have known that, because especially after Thresh lanterns Ezreal away and sits in the brush, I should know he's recalling. So what would I recommend you actually do here? Because I haven't actually roamed a lot this game. I haven't left lane a lot. And there's two reasons for that. One, a lot of the action has been bot lane, so our jungler has been coming to me instead of me going to my jungler. And then two, when I wanted to roam, my timings were a little off with the wave. I didn't really like time my recalls very well. So I've ended up needing to be bot lane with Ziggs because otherwise he'll get flashed on by Thresh. And despite Ziggs being relatively safe, if Thresh has flash, there are multiple ways that Ziggs can die. Just by, you know, getting flash played into hook by Thresh. Ezreal and Thresh will be able to dive him if he's completely all alone. Unless Ziggs, you know, manages to thin the wave out properly. And that's not always possible. It's not always possible. It is easier for Ziggs to do it, but it's not like guaranteed. And secondly, another thing is my Kiana is also not an easy lane to gank unless... Okay, cool. So we end up taking a 2v2 because I get hooked, basically. That's the main reason we take this 2v2. Now, the main differences I should have made in this 2v2, by the way, was I really should have waited on my ulti. This 2v2 started because I got hooked, but there was absolutely no reason for me to... ult that early, but I decided to. I think I should have just waited on the Thresh hook and waited a little bit longer for some burst damage to be coming my way, because even if they Thresh hook me, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think I can just wait for my Hecarim to land a solid R. But it wasn't like an actively bad ult, because I stopped the Thresh hook from CCing me into like, because I would have started the fight with half HP. But I think looking back on it, probably could have played that better. And what I'm thinking now is, as you can see, we've kind of swapped lanes where Kiana's gone bot lane because she roamed bot and Ziggs had TP, so he catches mid wave. What I'm thinking now is I just need to get control of river, because if I don't have control over river, whatever happens, it's going to be hard to break out of these lanes. Also, I won't be able to move around and get ganks off with my fed Kiana and my fed Hecarim. So I don't really dislike being mid, because I can move from top to mid to top and things like that. But another mistake I think I was making was not going top lane here. But I think Hecarim makes a mistake here. I'm going to switch to directed camera, sorry, and go back and show you guys what happened. Probably a couple of people are wondering what the hell just happened. Hecarim is walking top here, and I'm on the opposite side. And I should not have been on the opposite side, actually, because what I should have double checked is my Kiana needs to base. She hasn't based in a little while. So the best play for me to, the best thing for me to do, rather, would be to go top lane with Ziggs. And I don't know what Hecarim's doing. Like, this was, yeah, that was something, that's for sure. Oh yeah, our Fiora is having a bit of a stinker. Fiora is having a bit of a stinker. This turns into a bit of a close one as well. Yeah. So in that one play, by the way, we almost entirely just lost our whole lead. Actually, we did just lose our entire lead. So yeah, it's a bit of a problematic issue. And another thing is I could have killed him right there if I had just W'd him at any point. If I had just W'd him at any point, like when I was close to him, it's very hard for Ezreal to react to that. But I just let him E away for no reason. So I know that was a mistake by me. Definitely a free kill that I just gave away. But we managed to get Ziggs back to bot lane. And my goal now is to reset, get some vision for our Ziggs, and then focus on trying to take bot tower, because Ziggs takes bot tower really well, like really you know, quickly. But again, there's a lot of crazy fighting going on here. I can't say that there's a lot to talk about here other than our Hecarim is very fed. But I managed to end up going top lane and I save Hecarim. Do we kill Camille? I feel like we should, right? Okay, we don't. Nice champion. So that recall bot lane just after I missed that kill on Ezreal wasn't meant to be for top. But when I recall, obviously you should keep your eye on the minimap. And I saw that potentially Hecarim was going to get invaded because I couldn't see Thresh on the map for a very long time. So I was a bit suspicious that someone might be top. I didn't see Lilia bot lane and we had a little bit of vision. So I was like, okay, well, Lilia's probably top. And if Thresh and Lilia are top, then I need to go top as well. Thresh is just getting caught here. There's nothing else to talk about. I mean, this dude is just getting caught. So yeah, that roam top ended up actually paying off. Now that we've killed Thresh, Ezreal is completely alone and Dragon is free. The next goal here is, do they need me on Dragon? No. Okay, you can see me hex flashing over the wall and going behind Ezreal. Keep in mind, I know he has no flash right now, so I have to do my best to try and interrupt him. So as you can see, I do the wall combo where I knock him against the wall. I knock him against the wall to get a little bit of extra CC time, and then a Q, like a delayed Q. Pretty standard, but we end up, you know, getting a pretty huge amount off that. Now, I should really base after this cannon. I think that's what I'm going to do. And then, yeah, so I'm basing here, and Ziggs is staying. I think Ziggs staying might be a little bit greedy. I feel like he's got a lot of gold. How much gold does he have? Yeah, he has 2.5k. And also, I based in a really awkward spot. I based exactly where Thresh could hook me, which is not a good decision. If I had based slightly to the right, I would have been able to you know, not get cancelled. But yeah, what else can I talk about? So after this phase, again, I'm looking on the minimap and I'm thinking, we just took bot tower. I don't need to be bot lane. What am I waiting for? Aurelia's? Don't know why I was waiting there. But oh, Victor, I think Victor DC's here maybe. I'm not sure what just happened, but this game is much closer than you'd think considering how well it started. But you know, there's a lot of mistakes being made from both teams. So Hecarim's super fed and he's getting quite strong. So I group with him right now. I don't like what he's doing right now, but he managed to get a free ult. I group with Hecarim because he's our strongest member, and we've just crashed midwave. So crashing midwave gives me these free wards. As you can see, I'm putting... Okay, so yeah, Victor did DC. I put 2 wards down in their jungle because, you know, we just crashed mid, and our Ziggs takes over midwave, which is the standard stuff to do when Ziggs doesn't have anywhere else to go. He can go mid and Yeah, I guess Thresh is also not paying attention while he's shopping. So I go for a flash here. Main reason is if I don't flash combo them, then I'm never going to get both of them. Ezreal's going to E away. So I decided to ult here. I'm not sure why I ulted. Yeah, I don't know why I ulted there. I think I was totally fine. I think I should have just saved my ult there. Got a bit scared, but this guy is 3 and 6. He's not very strong. Or rather 3 and 5 before we killed him. Either way, basically the game plan now was just invade with my Hecarim. I was looking at the Fiora and I was thinking I don't think Fiora is going to be a very good champion to play around this game. She's not playing very well. She's having a bad game. I'm just going to stick to Kiana and Hecarim. And actually I can just leave my Ziggs and kind of let him do his own thing, right? I'm just going to let Ziggs kind of farm, and he's brilliant at that. That's one of the things this champion does best. And leave the rest to Kiana, me, and Hecarim. Our Fiora, like I said, is having a pretty bad game. She's not doing so good. So right now you can see I'm actually just avoiding the top side of the map. Most people, I think, in lower elo, they might have the urge to go top here and be like, we need to defend. I think that's the wrong attitude in this situation, because the enemy team, if they're smart, should actually force us to go top by ganking top right now. And I don't particularly think that's necessary to... I don't think that's necessary to worry about. I think it's better for us to, yeah. So I'm pinging Ziggs here saying, like, ignore top. Let's just push mid. Because I think we maybe had an idea that Victor was missing. I don't know what this Hecarim is doing, but that's exactly what I was saying. Like, they're going to be waiting for us to fight top. Because the only place on the map that right now the enemy can fight us is top lane. Because they don't have a mid laner. Their AD carry is bot lane with no TP. There's only one place on the map where they have even numbers, and that is mid. Sorry, top lane. So we just push mid. And I think that was a better play. And if Hecarim instead didn't dive top lane and just walked mid lane, we would have most likely gotten inhib. It still sucks that Victor's AFK, by the way, so I'm sorry. I didn't actually realize Victor would be AFK for this long. I thought he had like a mini DC and then he came back. But this was longer than I remembered. So that's a bit of a bummer for the enemy team. So I go behind using Ziggs and Me's using Ziggs in my push in mid lane. You know, Ezreal is like, he's in a different country from his team, so we just punish him. Dude doesn't have a passport to be bot lane. And Ziggs and Fiora fight over the farm, Keck W. But now again, what my plan is I need to try and get control over Dragon area, because I don't really want to rush the Herald. I don't think Herald is that useful for us. It's good with Ziggs, but I'm not thinking it's like there's no plates, so I don't really care that much about Herald. So I just patch towards Dragon and like standard stuff. I'm gonna let my Ziggs push. Thank God, Victor's back, cool. I'm gonna let my Ziggs push mid lane and just make sure he's like sort of safe while he's doing that. He can do it from quite a good distance. And then I'm gonna make sure that I can get a little bit of vision and get my reset in. And the reset is also really important before you go to Dragon, because if you put all your vision down and then you're trying to fight Dragon, but then they clear some of your vision, you're just sitting there with no wards. But if you actually put your vision down and then reset, while they're clearing your vision, if they don't get all of it, then you basically come back on the map with like a few extra wards that you can then like use to bolster your vision and kind of make it better. Okay, so my Kiana just pops Victor like a, you know, bug. Nice champion when she's ahead. That was essentially the cost of the enemy not having vision on the map. Also, Victor's AFK. Like that was a big deal. That definitely is a big deal. Looking back on this, if Victor didn't AFK, this game might have become pretty difficult. But the rest of the map is stomping. It's just top lane that's an issue. So yeah, the vision control before an objective thing is something I think that a lot of people struggle to make useful. We punish Lily in jungle again because we have such a strong area of the map where we're kind of controlling. It's incredibly difficult for the enemy team to do anything without face checking, and that's what we're abusing. We're just sitting in brushes after we use sweeper, but we have to kind of do it with our sweeper timers and our pink ward timers. We can't just like mindlessly walk into the enemy jungle, because yes, they're behind, but they do have, you know, they do have like Lily asleep to turn fights, and you know, there's potential for Camille to TP flank us. I flashed there, and it was actually a pretty good follow-up on my Ziggs. I'll go back and show you. Ziggs actually played that really well. So let me zoom out a tiny bit. So I flash here. That little bomb right there was actually a really clean bomb by Ziggs. He timed that with my flash almost, you know, perfectly. So super good by him. And Victor didn't even have time to flash. He just died. So that took a lot of trust in my Ziggs to do that. Because if I flash and Victor flashes away, I think it's actually not worth. Because the enemy's about to recall. We're going to be stuck under tower. Mr. Hecarim is just, I don't know what he's doing. This guy's made a lot of weird decisions to run around and give up his shutdown. But yeah, so we get bot inhib. And maybe some people would be like, well, why don't take inhib this early? Because, you know, they can scale and they can farm. And there is some truth to that. But I think in these cases where we've already busted down 2 inhib towers, 2 inhibitors are just wide open, we can just accelerate the game to the point where the enemy team can't fight us. And the important thing to remember is Baron is coming up. So it's not like we're taking an inhib and then there's going to be 5 minutes of farming. We're going to take an inhib and then force Nash. And if Camille catches the wave ball lane, we can force Nash and then she'll have to TP and we can just back off. And if she doesn't TP, then we just take the Nash. And that is a bit of a risk, and it is kind of risky, but the only counterplay I think the enemy team really has is to like basically win the fight when Camille TPs. If they don't win the fight when Camille TPs, the game is over because we have Nash with no inhib bot lane. So we're just gonna like push mid or push top and the game is done. I'm just clearing vision here. I just walked into top, and the important thing to note though is Thresh was like grouped with this entire team. So I stayed away from the normal areas you would go. I didn't go through mid lane, as you saw. They were running around in our jungle, and I knew that they were like somewhere in our jungle because they wouldn't just be doing nothing with their time. So I was expecting them to do something on the map, and I didn't have Hecarim, I didn't have Kiana. So as you can see, all I did was clear 1 ward in our blue buff area. That was it. That's all I did. And Ezreal gets picked. This is going to happen when you're ahead. Your teammates are going to find picks all over the map because, I mean, they don't have, enemy team does not have enough strengths to actually like control 3 lanes at once. So the core idea is we're going to have at least 1 or 2 lanes which we can push and then do something around. That's it. We're just going to focus around those lanes, and it doesn't matter if yours getting curb stomped into the ground because we're curb stomping them harder than they are. I think Victor gets 1 shot here, maybe. Does Victor get 1 shot here? Yeah, I feel like Victor gets 1 shot here. Okay, Victor gets 1 shot. Cool. So yeah, our Kiana is having a great game as well. And this was a little bit spooky because I didn't know where Lilia was and I didn't have vision, but this is pretty much, you know, pretty clean game overall, despite the fact that I think we started to throw away our lead a little bit in mid game. Actually, there was a point where they were ahead in gold, which is kind of crazy to think about. So I don't know why I am staying on the map here. This was not smart. I really don't think this was smart. I think we should have based. And as soon as I get hit by this Q, I realized like, oh shit, I shouldn't be here. So yeah, that was a mistake by me. Like there's no reason for me to stay on the map that long. And as you can see now, we have a problem where Ziggs has nothing to do. I am not on the map. Hecarim's not on the map. We overstayed, so we're kind of just wasting a bunch of Baron time. That's another really common problem in low elo where they just... looks like Camille kind of dies. Yeah. Where you get greedy and you overstay your welcome, and then your teammates' recalls are all staggered. And basically what happens is you don't have synced timers. So the end result is... Yeah, Kiana's just styling on people at this point. Also, Ziggs gets 1 shot here by a 1 and 4 Victor. That's pretty fucking funny. He was actually 0 and 4 before before the Ziggs ends up dying. That's quite funny. But yeah, if you stagger your recalls this much, it's just a bad habit. Like you could look at this game and be like, oh well, whatever, the game is over, right? But actually, you look at the gold and you look at the team comps. I don't think the game is actually over. We don't have an 80 carry. We don't have sustained DPS. Hecarim is our sustained DPS, but there are ways the enemy team can deal with Hecarim, right? This is not one of them. I think he dies here. Yeah. Like, imagine if we do this anymore, you know what I mean? Like, imagine if this happens anymore. Enemy team is going to have a fed Ezreal, and like Ezreal is going to shred our front line. Once he gets armor pen, Ezreal becomes a really big problem for Hecarim. He's going to one-shot Kiana if she's not careful. Kiana can also one-shot him, but it becomes a lot scarier. So staggering your recalls for your Baron, wasting your Baron time, not really like finishing the game in this push, it is definitely a bit spooky. And the crazy part about this whole thing is Victor was AFK for like a solid 2 minutes, 3 minutes, right? So yeah, especially in games where like Camille and Ezreal's and like hyper-scaling mids like Victor are in these games, if you want to consistently climb, it's just better to not go full autopilot when you think the game's auto-won. It's better to just sweat it out, just try hard it. and finish the game fast, because these champions are so annoying in solo queue for a good reason, and especially in low elo, they just come back from absolutely nowhere. Like one day, like Ezreal will be dealing 10 damage to you, and then the next day, he'll be like 3-shotting you. Like literally after one shutdown, he'll just 3-shot your ass, and it's kind of hard to sometimes see why, because you're like, oh, it was only like one bad play, but some of these champions, it only really takes one bad play to turn the game. Especially when your team comp, like our team comp, is very all in or nothing. It's a kind of an all or nothing team comp. If we don't win the fight at the very beginning of the fight, we just lose. We just outright lose, because Kiana will have blown her load, and if they somehow manage to dodge Kiana's combo, or if they somehow manage to dodge like Hecarim ult or Ziggs' ult QE, then we just have no cooldowns and there's no more damage. So really important we don't do that. Again, we just group here because we have mid inhib, bot inhib had just spawned, but we're just grouping around top lane, and we can only do this because with Ziggs. If we didn't have Ziggs, I wouldn't have grouped here. But it looks like my Kiana just absolutely one-tap someone, but they do manage to barely live, and then we clean up. So a lot of this game is on Kiana for finding these amazing engages. I'm not using my W here on Camille because I think we can kill her, and if I W'd her, she might be able to, you know, escape. Lilia flashes on me, but I have ult, so it is what it is, and that should be game. I believe that is GG, well played. Yeah, enemy team surrenders. So yeah, I mean, this is an experimental run through. Tell me what you guys think. I was just, you know, hanging out, chilling out, rambling over the game, and talking about my thoughts. A couple of things about the matchups, a couple of things about where I roamed, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it's useful, and yeah, I will do more if you want to see these. Other than that, thank you for watching, and comment about what champions you want to see me do these on, because I can always do them for Alistar on my main account. That's the highest elo account I have, or we can go to, like, you know, different champions. I've been playing a lot of Gragas and Pyke on my Smurf, so if you want to see like some more memey fun champs, then I can always do that. But yeah, thank you for watching, and have a nice time.